Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. If you've been around for a while, you'll know that each month I ask my patrons to give me an idea for a soap design, and I give them a sort of criteria to keep to. Now for this month I asked them to give me one soap topper that I could put onto the top of the soap, and I would build the rest of the theme around it. We had lots of great suggestions, and I popped everyone's name and suggestion into a soapy jug, and then I drew one of them out. The one that I drew out came from Deb, who doesn't have her own business at this stage, but if she does start up any business pages, I'll certainly leave links down below in the description box. But her suggestion was for musical notes. Now, I must admit, when I was writing out everyone's suggestion, I saw this one and I thought, please don't be the one that I draw out, because I have no idea what I'm going to do as a soap that incorporates musical notes, and I have no molds for musical notes. I have no sprinkle sheets. I did consider pestering Lee, but knew she was too busy to be able to do me any. I thought about extruder discs, but again, I didn't have any extruder discs with musical notes, and I figured they were going to be too fiddly to do with soap dough. So it took me a couple of weeks to actually work out how I was going to make my musical notes, and then to try and decide on a design. Now for the design idea, I did end up getting onto the computer and looking for cakes with a music theme, and the cake that jumped out to me the most in one of the pictures was a really beautiful cake that had a wavy piano or keyboard on the top of it. And then the cake was also decorated with big bouquets of red roses, and then there were musical notes scattered all over this cake. It really was stunning and really made an impression on me, and I wondered how on earth I could incorporate this into the soap. So I worked out how to do my piano keyboard, which I poured separately, and then for my musical notes I decided I needed to pipe them, because that was going to be the best way of me getting them within the time frame that I needed them for. So I printed up a sheet I went into Canva. I got a sort of A4 sheet of music notes or onto the sort of design, printed it up and put it under some greaseproof paper so I could still see the black ink under the paper, and then I went ahead and I piped it with some black soap. And then the next day, when that was all set up, all I needed to do was pick up that piece of paper, and all these notes just slid off. It was like it was out of a comic book. It was quite funny. So I ended up with my musical notes, I had my keyboard, I piped myself some flowers, and then I got to making it. Let's go and see how I make my sweet Serenade soaps using those musical notes as my topper. Let's go. Alright, so let's jump into this as we always do. I have got my oils and my lye water, which I'm just going to very gently pour in. I'm going to give it a mix up, and then I'm going to split it up for the colours. So that's just been given a bit of a mix there. Let's split it up. So I'm going to do just a little bit of green, and I've got, it is called green sage. So I'm going to pour off a little bit of that, and that's going to be for some piping on the top of this soap. So we'll just pop that to one side. In this container here, I have some black oxide. I'm going to pour in about that much. And then in this container here with the smaller spatula, we'll try not to throw everything everywhere, I have got some Trial by Fire. I'm just going to pour that in there. And then into my bigger container, I am going to put in some titanium dioxide, which I have already dispersed in some water. I do want my base on this one to be white, so I've given it a good amount. I'm going to give this a bit of a mix. Alright, so everything is mixed together. It is looking good. I always know when I haven't made soap for a while because I kind of get everything in an absolute mess and everything just looks really awkward and feels awkward to do. And it's been quite a number of weeks since I've had to make any soap. What we're going to do is put in our fragrance, and I'm using one that has been sent to me but called Lick Me All Over, and the last time I used it, it did behave really well. It's got quite a nice fruity note to it, and I know it doesn't discolor, so I'm going to pop all of that in there in the white. Going to give that a bit of a mix, and then I was kind of deciding whether to do an in the pot or a in the mold swirl. I think we might do a bit of a combination actually. Oh, it's smelling absolutely amazing. What we're going to do first of all is pour a good portion of this white base in here. That should do like so. And then what I'm going to do with these two is I'm going to pour some of my black down the side like so, and then I'm going to do a in the mold drop pour. Most of that black's come out, so let's pour some more, and I'm just going to keep doing that until I've dropped all of that red in here, making sure I get up and into the corners so that even the ends get some colour. Kind of missed the end down here. Told ya, it's been a while since I've made soap, so I've just thrown that absolutely everywhere. Whoops. Yeah, okay, we'll stop cleaning up and we'll just keep putting stuff in here, because the more I'm trying to clean up, the more mess I'm making. Let's get this pot scraped down. So I'm going to be covering most of the top of this up with our embeds, but you know, I'm still going to do the pretty swirls on the top of this for where it does peek out from underneath the main embed that we're going to put on here. Absolutely loving these colours. So let's get that nicely swirled. Alright, so look at this embed. So yes, I did spend a bit of time doing that top there, and we're going to put this massive embed on the top of it. But I think it's going to be well worth it, because you will see some of that sort of pattern. Hopefully this isn't too wet. No, it's just right. So the weight of that's going to sit on there. Now, if you want to know how I made the top of that, go and check out the reels over on my Instagram page, and I have done a little bit of a mini video on how I made my my little piano board, and there it is. And the next thing I'm going to pop in here is we're actually going to pop, well, let's put these roses. So I've actually piped some little roses. I did do a few different sizes, so we'll get in what I can. Pretty much going to cover up all that swirl, but hey, it's so much fun to swirl soaps that I'm not too bothered. Let's get as many of these in here as I possibly can. And if I don't, whatever I actually don't use will be put aside for another soap. now for the bit that was requested to go on to the soap. These are a bit hard to see while they're all sort of jumbled up on my tray, but these are my music notes. Now to create these, I didn't have a mold, and I thought about asking Lee to make me some sprinkle sheets, but I wanted a few different notes to go on here, and I didn't have any extruder discs with music notes either, and it was just getting a little bit too late to ask all the people I know to make me those sort of stuff. So what I did is I ended up printing some musical notes onto an A4 sheet of paper, and then I placed it underneath my greaseproof paper, and then I just piped them on. And then the next day when I came in, I picked that paper up, and they all just thankfully slid off that paper. And all I'm going to do is randomly place them over these leaves. And what I might also do, I've got a paintbrush here with a little bit of water. I might just add some water onto the piano piece, like so, and then I can pick up some of these notes and just stick them down, and hopefully they will stick like you do when you're working, because this piano is actually soap dough. I did make my soap dough recipe up to do that one, so this should all just stick nicely together. It is going to take me a long time. Now I've got to try not to break my musical notes. Alright, so I'm going to stop there, otherwise I think I might ruin it if I squeeze too many notes in. I'm kind of thinking about how the bars are going to be cut and making sure that each bar has got some rows, some music notes, some piano keys and things like that. I am absolutely loving this. It has been a long time since I've done anything quite this intricate, but I'm just absolutely stoked with how this one is coming up. Going to leave this one sit here overnight, and it's going to be very hard for me to do it, but we're going to be back in just a moment and we'll cut it open and we'll take a look at the inside. So we are back to cut into Sweet Serenade. It smells absolutely amazing. I really do like this fragrance, and my customers loved it the first time I used it as well. This is one of those soaps where I really want to know what it looks like on the inside, but I really don't want to cut it either because it's just so pretty. It has come up better than I anticipated, or better than I thought it was going to come up. You know, it was one of those things of, what am I going to do with the music note theme? How am I going to make this actually work? And I got the idea and ran with it, but didn't really imagine that it was going to look like this, and I'm just so happy with it. I think we've got through all of those roses that were on the top without too much damage. I can see that a couple of the little ebony keys have moved, but we'll just get those ones out the way, and we are through. Let's take a look. I'm going to get that bit off first. That's just a bit of that key. It's not too important there. Let's grab this one from out the middle, see what it's like. Oh, that is the inside. That is such a gorgeous swirl on there, and then that is the top. I definitely think I met that brief of music notes as an embed. We got two, so we've got one on the leaf there and one on the actual piano board. So that one's got your couple of keys and your couple of your ivory keys and your ebony keys, a few little roses on there as well. Absolutely love how it's turned out. Let's the next one along. So it's a little bit different. It's just got the one of the keys, but it's got several more musical notes on there. Oh, this is just, it really has come up just so much better than I kind of envisaged. So really, really pleased with how that's come up, and the swirls in the soap really do complement the top. I didn't want to make the inside too complicated. I wanted the design on the top to really talk, but I also didn't want the inside to be too plain either. Look at that one. Isn't that a gorgeous swirl? And look at all those roses. We've still got the musical notes on there as well. Absolutely love how this has come up. I really am actually blown away by how it's come up, and I am actually pleased I am cutting it. I really didn't want to cut it, but all soaps have to be cut. There's no point having a big bar like that. There is the top of that one. That one's really pretty, having those two roses. So I'm really glad I did put the roses on top in between those piano keys where I could. Let me grab this one from out the middle here as well. So there it is. There is my Serenade soap. I hope you have enjoyed coming along on this journey with me. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And look, final bar there, we got a beautiful little curly whirly starting to happen over here. So I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me, and until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one. I'll see you then. Bye.